few days ago, the co-president of the German Synod, by the name of Irma, said that she was not willing, I imagine neither she nor the lady participating in the Synod committee. She was not willing for the bishops to continue to have the power to veto the implementation of the conclusions of the Synod, a power that was established in the synodal organization itself, which required 2/3 of the vote of the participating bishops. The truth is that this veto was only being used on one occasion. Only in one occasion was it possible for 2/3 of the bishops to oppose one of the things approved by the Synod. And I say it was only on one occasion because from that moment on they modified on the fly voting rule of the Synod, and it was decided that everyone had to vote by a show of hands so that their vote will be public. From that moment on, the quote-unquote brave German bishops, with very few exceptions, submitted to what the majority wanted because they knew perfectly well what awaited them when they returned to their diocese, in the form of criticism, harassment, demonstration, or perhaps, who knows, what might come out of the closet. The fact is that from that moment on, the secret ballot ended, which firstly was the Synod's regulation, and secondly, it is the norm in any vote. The Mr. Irma, the co-president who is in charge, decided that everything had to be done by a show of hands, a style more typical of dictatorships, be it Slaten's or Hitler. Well, now Mr. Irma is tired of having to raise her hand and in the voting. She is tired and finds it not very aesthetic and has decided to put an end to the possibility of the bishops being able to veto any application of what has already been approved in the Synod. She who rules the rules. This is, of course, leaves the bishops in a place absolutely distinction when it comes to carry out their canonical mission of governing, but nevertheless, it does not seem to have been enough for one of the leaders of the German Catholic youth of gay sectors. I do not know if it is that he is gay and leader, or it is that he is a leader of the gay sector. Well, the fact is that these young men from the diocese of Münster, named Lucas, has decided to apostatize from the church and has made it public. He is leaving the church. He is no longer a Catholic because he says that he feels, the words in his own for the record, he feels impotent. I imagine that by impotent he means that he feels frustrated and disappointed. Well, the fact is that Lucas is leaving the church, but he has said that he is going to continue working. The word working is a figure of speech, so that none of those who really work will get upset. That he is going to continue working within this commission of the Diocese of Münster, in which he has part as a Catholic leader. He is a Catholic leader at the head of the Catholic youth, but he is no longer a Catholic. And of course, the Diocese of Münster has said that of course it will be great, and that this work will continue to be remunerated with a generous salary. It is difficult to understand outside of Germany that a person does not pay taxes. The key is there, that they declared him an apostate, that they did not allow him, for example, to celebrate a funeral or a relative or when the time comes for himself, but that nevertheless no one is an apostate can be at the head of the young German Catholics. Difficult to understand, of course, maybe the question is in which part of the church you are. Now, why has Lucas left the church? I repeat the word that it is in his impotent. He feels frustrated. And whose fault it is? And what will Mrs. Irma, the co-president who decides and rules, do? What will she do if she does not get her way? If in the end the bishops decided that they are not going to give up their veto power, surely they will give in. But well, let us suppose that they decide that they will not give in. And what will Mrs. Irma do? Will she also declare herself an apostate and throw herself out of the church? Lucas is not the first case. There have been others before and of the people with important positions, even priests, and even episcopal vicars within the church who have left frustrated, disappointed. And whose fault it is? First, because they thought they could achieve things that are impossible to achieve, or those who decided deceived them and encouraged them to ask for something, telling them that with media support, which they have not lacked, and with a sufficient number of votes, they could turn around everything that was needed in the church. Sexual morality, sacraments, even doctrine. Whose fault it is? We are facing such a serious situation. What happened in Germany is only the beginning, but it is spreading in giant steps. We are in such a serious situation. The validity, the usefulness, not only for the German Synod or of the Synod of synodality, but of any synod, is being questioned. The listening process is very important for the hierarchy. It is very useful both for the Pope in the previous synods, where the bishops were listened to, and in the new synods, where bishops and laity are going to be listened to. It's very important for the hierarchy to know what the bishops think, or to know what the people of God thinks. It is very important to listen. The work of listening never hurts, taking for granted that this listening is representative of all the people of God and not of an ideologized minority that has taken control of the initial phases of this listening process. Listening is very important, but everyone must know from the beginning, and I say everyone. Those who listen to those who want to be listened to. Everyone must know from the beginning that there are things that will not be changed because they cannot and should not be changed. From then on, we talk and listen, but I repeat, everyone must know that there are things that will not be changed. Now, if this is so, should the listening have been done as it has been done, or should it have been made very clear from the beginning what are the limits of what is untouchable? For example, Synod of the Amazon, where the ordination of married men is required, or an overwhelming majority. Well, this is required in the Synod of the Amazon, and what happened? Well, married men have not been ordained either for the Amazon or for any other place. Hasn't that generated frustration among those who participated in that synod? Surely yes. It is possible that some have left the church and have not published it on their Twitter account, as the young German gay Lucas has done, perhaps because they did not have a Twitter account in the Amazon. I don't know. There may be some. In any case, we are facing a process that can generate immense frustration among those who expect to achieve changes and will not occur. And if they were to occur, and if those changes at all, those labels demanded by the Germans, and not only by them. And if those changes were to take place, then perhaps the young Lucas will stop feeling impotent in the sense of frustrated, and he will go back to the Catholic Church, from which he has somehow never left because he has continued working as a head of the young Catholics and receiving his salary. Well, maybe Lucas will be very happy and will go back to work and to be part of the Catholic Church, but there will be many others who will feel devastated because they could have to choose between being faithful to Christ and faithful to the church that up to now was Jesus' church. The solid fact of having studied the possibility of changing certain things that cannot and should not be changed. Just the possibility is causing a huge pain, unspeakable. Only God knows all the pain all these people is suffering, so many Catholics, because of what is happening, because of the confusion reigning at this time. They did not know and they did not realize the pain of millions of Catholics. I ask God that this situation ends as soon as possible, but I also ask Him, and I do it every day, for those responsible for this confusing and this pain. Maybe some of them, I say this sincerely, already don't believe in God, or don't believe in a Catholic God, or they made up a custom God, or maybe they even think there is not eternal life, that everyone is saved, that there is no judgment, or that mercy laughs at judgment, and one can do whatever one desires. It is possible, because right now anything is. God exists, and those who have to make people suffer, even if they think they won't, they will face God, who will hold them accountable for the immense damage they are causing. Every day, really, I pray for them. I pray for them. I pray for the church, and I pray for those suffering. See you next week, God willing.